Have you ever felt the vibration of your phone in your pocket and when you check it, there's no notification there? This is known as the phantom vibration syndrome. And it happens because the person develops an hypersensitivity for the phone. Just feeling a touch and automatically think it must be a call or a message. It is not harmful at all, but just knowing the explanation for this syndrome, we can talk about another one with the same premise. I'm talking about the Tetris effect. The Tetris effect or the Tetris syndrome is when a person devotes a lot of his time doing a specific activity, in this case, playing video games. And the person starts to copy and manifest some behaviors and patterns from the game. It is not a thought, this is an unconscious reaction, and like the phantom vibration syndrome is not harmful at all. Actually, the Tetris effect has a lot of positive effects that people usually don't know or just ignore. But well, to talk about these effects, we must understand the reason for the name, the medical potential that this effect has, and how we can apply the effect for more games in general. But well, I'm pretty sure you already noticed it, but the name of this game comes from the famous game, Tetris. And I claim with no doubt that everyone here have played at least once in their lives. And we know the rules. Just move in some blocks and make them fit on screen. This simple but iconic gameplay can really help us to develop some new skills. For example, the spatial skill. We spend a lot of time with these blocks and understanding the shapes that they get stuck in our brains, and in real life we manifest this new behavior just with or managing the space around us, in the parking lot, in our empty spaces and around our room. Also finding some patterns on the walls or on the floor. We do this automatically. This is the most common effect that Tetris game provides, but it's not the only one, and it's not the greatest one. What happens if I tell you that Tetris has a great medical potential? Playing Tetris prevents the buildup of a trauma. Let's see this. So, according to the article European Journal of Psychotraumatology did in 2017, about 7.8% of the people gets PTSD, a mental disorder that is characterized by intrusive memories and alterations in cognition. Some researchers have noticed that the Tetris effect can really help at the moment to prevent these problems, these disorders. But they already found two problems. The first one, that not all the games are useful at all. Actually, there's one research did in 2007 and 2017 and the name was Tetris versus Pop Quiz, a word game. And the results were so obvious. Tetris helps to prevent a trauma, and pop game not at all. But this happened in under control conditions. So how we can apply this in real life? How can it work? Well, for that, Emily A. Holmes has an answer with her experiment in 2010. In a UK hospital, 72 patients and victims of motor accidents were tested. The first half of the patients were given some standard care, while the other half received psychological assistance while they were asked to play and practice Tetris. And after a week of observations, they noticed that the second half presented 62% less intrusive memories than the first one. It can really help, but there comes the second problem that you already mentioned, that they found out that there's a margin of 6 hours that before a memory turns into a trauma. So the ideal condition, it will be that the person with the trauma, right after the event, has to play Tetris. And as you can think, this is pretty impossible in almost all the cases. But well, this is just talking about Tetris, but not because the name of the syndrome refers directly to this game. It is meant to be just for this game. Not at all. Actually, all the video games can really help in some way. The syndrome applies to any kind of game that stimulate your brain. Horror games, adventure games, RPG, simulations, shooters, everything that gives you an stimulation. And the first thing that people think about Tetris Effect, video games effect, is that statement: violent games create violent people. And it seems that the Tetris Effect supports this idea, but not at all. Actually, it goes against this idea, because all the video games give you have some positive effects. Every video game helps you to develop some skills. For example, if a shooter game asks to shoot a faraway enemy, the player will concentrate more to do not throw the shot. If a horror game asks to listen carefully to avoid the monster, the player will focus more on his ear in order to avoid the monster. And we can continue and continue, but we cannot deny the great effect that video games, that the Tetris effect has on us. But well, this syndrome is beneficial not only for the brain but also for the science, because researchers are looking for ways to improve this experience. Actually, Dr. Mars Gonzalez Franco, research manager at Google, is looking for a way to create a new immersive technology based and inspired on the Tetris effect, because she knows that it has a great potential helping people and understanding the human behaviors. That's it. Thank you.